Every year in the NFL, it's a new team. As far as goals go, we have one. Putting a fucking ring on our finger.
Welcome to the Buccaneers Observer Podcast. This is Ralph Phillips.
I'm Molly Bay.
Today is November 12th, 2019. You know, from listening to people, Buc fans, you wouldn't know that we had won Sunday. A lot of negativity out there. Vernon Hargreaves got cut, waived, whatever you want to call it.
That was really unexpected.
It was.
I expected him to be benched, probably. It just kind of came out of the blue.
Something must have happened, you know, because he didn't seem upset after the game, and Bruce Arians didn't really talk about him much after the game. They said they were going to have a meeting with him Monday or Tuesday, I can't remember, and then next thing you know, he's getting cut. A lot of people are saying it's a testament to how bad Jason Licht is because of the 2016 draft. Only one guy is left on the team. That's Ryan Smith. But again, you know, I'm of the opinion that, you know, what good's cutting Licht going to do or getting rid of Licht going to do if you ain't got somebody better to replace it? Doesn't make any sense to me. People just get angry and they just want to punish people, like you say all the time. So we got rid of Hargreaves. That means we have no veteran leadership in our secondary.
At all. Not that he was really much of a leader, I don't think. During the off season on the Ira Kaufman podcast, they had said, one of the Joes, or both, that they had heard reports from inside one Buc place that Hargreaves in general kind of had a bad attitude, but they couldn't confirm what they had heard. But they did say if it was true, they didn't think he should be on the team.
Well, I watched the play that Bruce Arians talked about where Hargreaves did not give a whole lot of effort. And it's true, he didn't. You know, he came in at an angle, he could have tackled the guy, and he didn't. And the guy ended up picking up like 60-some yards. And then they benched him after that. Then they had to bring him in late in the fourth quarter because somebody got hurt. Who was it? MJ Stewart? I can't remember. Anyhow, and then he did good. He got a pass defense and actually knocked the ball out of the hands of the wide receiver. And I don't know. Yeah, it was a surprise. But it is what it is.
It always seems like BA has to have one of those, kind of the sacrificial lamb.
Well, he's making a statement, that's for sure.
Definitely. And, you know, Vernon Hargreaves was already taken off of special teams because he lacked the effort.
Yeah, that's where I really noticed his lackadaisical attitude. But honestly, I'm not sad to see him go. I mean, he's never really impressed me. He's been injured a lot. And if he would have got hurt this year, then we would have had to pay him, I think it was like $5 million next year because we had picked up his fifth-year option, whatever. So, you know, looks like it's going to be Jamel Dean and Bunting and MJ Stewart.
And then we moved Mazzy Wilkins up from the practice squad.
Good.
And we also signed John Franklin III to the practice squad. He was from FSU, and he was an Auburn quarterback that converted to wide receiver.
He was with the Bears before, right?
Yeah, this is all per Greg Auman. So it's interesting timing, but I think it's just one of those where BA isn't putting up with that stuff.
No, and that's good. That's good. That's what you want. You want accountability. I'm not a big fan of cutting people, but I got faith in BA. Bah. So I'm going to start calling him now. Bah.
Sheeple.
So I got the All-22 done. The video will probably be up by the time you listen to this podcast. It's on YouTube's. I was really surprised at how few things there were in this game to point out. It seems like, you know, I always talk about games. Do we win? Do we beat ourselves? Do the refs beat us? Yeah, I think that's it, right?
Or did the other team beat us?
Yes. Did we get beat? Did we beat ourselves? Did we beat the other team? Or did the refs beat us? Something like that. Anyhow, with this game, watching All-22, Arizona's just really not that good of a team. They made a lot of mistakes. I don't want to say that they beat themselves and we just happen to be there and win it, because we did play pretty decent football, but we made some mistakes too. It was kind of a shootout between who made the most mistakes. Now, again, there was a lot of big plays too, but a lot of them were because people were making mistakes. There was one, BA even referenced it in his press conference, at the one where Ryan Smith got beat for a touchdown. I think it was a 66-yard touchdown.
That was right after Hargreaves got benched. That was the play after.
What happened was that they lined up and snapped the ball real quick, and our defense wasn't ready. And you could see it in the All-22. The guys that they between each play, they point the camera at the scoreboard so you can get the down and all that mess. And then they'll move the camera to the field. Well, on that play, they were showing the scoreboard, and then they move it down real quick, and they almost didn't catch the snap. First time I've ever seen that on all 22, where those guys almost didn't get the snap. But yeah, they definitely caught our defense off guard. They did that quite a bit during this game, where they would snap it real quick. Instead of lifting the leg, Murray would clap his hand, and once he clapped his hand, they'd snap the ball. So it was real fast. They did that quite a bit, but they definitely caught us that time. So we'll probably see Ryan Smith on the field more.
I like him.
We'll see how he does as cornerback. Yeah, I like him too.
Especially on special teams.
No, he's great on special teams, man. I watch him every special teams. He always seems to be doing good. He's always the first one down there when we're kicking off, and usually when we're receiving the ball, he's blocking all over the damn place.
He should be rested, so hopefully that'll work to his advantage.
Yeah, there's that. So yeah, Kyler Murray, he didn't really play that well. I mean, he's fast and elusive, but he had good 6-7 bad passes. Their team made a lot of mistakes.
It's what you would expect from a rookie quarterback and a new coaching staff. To me, that's why I look at it.
Yeah, it definitely looks like that.
They're just a little rusty, not quite together.
Right.
We kind of have the same issues, not with the quarterback, but having a new coaching staff.
Yeah, they would do silly things like forget to block people. Like they forgot to block Shaq Barrett one time. That was disastrous for them. Their first kickoff after scoring, they shanked it out of bounds.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
They had 2 back-to-back false start plays to start the second quarter. They were just all over the place making mistakes. There's that one where the guy was wide open. I think it was a tight end. And Murray threw the ball to him. It was wide open. It would have been a touchdown. Then the sun got in his eyes and he couldn't catch the ball.
I remember that one.
But that kind of goes back. It was really weird watching this game after watching last week against the Seahawks. Because the Seahawks didn't make hardly any mistakes. I mean, they were just well-polished, smooth machine. And then watching the Cardinals just kind of out there flailing around. Just a big disparity. And it goes back to my point that, being a good football team is really not about the talent. You look at the Patriots for that. It's about not making mistakes. Let the other team make mistakes and capitalize on them. You don't make mistakes. And I think that's one thing that BA's really big about. That's why he has the accountability sheet. He talks about mental errors, and that's a big thing, mental errors. Now, we had quite a few, too. It was the worst outing so far for Donovan Smith. He didn't play horrible, but as good as he's been playing all year, this was his worst game. A lot of it didn't really affect the play, but he had a couple of times where he just slipped out of nowhere, missed a couple blocks, a couple times he didn't block anybody. I think he got beat once or twice, but he did all right. But compared to how he's played the last 4 years, this was stellar. DeMar Dotson had kind of a rough day. Alex Kappa had kind of a rough day.
Okay, what happened on that one play where Jameis got sacked because Kappa didn't block anybody?
That wasn't Kappa's fault.
It was Dotson?
No, I'm trying to remember. There was one where Dotson obviously got the play wrong because the whole rest of the line slanted left and Dotson went right. He went right, ended up hitting O.J. Howard, who was trying to block Terrell Suggs. Terrell Suggs was able to get around both of them, but by Dotson not blocking left like the rest of the line, he left the guy, I can't remember who it was, left him wide open, and he rushed right in and sacked Jameis Winston. So I think that's the play everybody's blaming on Kappa, but it wasn't Kappa's fault. Kappa, everybody was blocking left. They were crashing left, and Dotson went right, left a big old hole.
Your other left, Johnson.
Other left. Rodney Gunter, number 95 on the Arizona Cardinals. He's good. I like him. Never heard of him before, but he's pretty good.
He's a defensive end.
Yes. Terrell Suggs had a good game. Actually, their front defense had a pretty good game. They were disrupting things. But Winston wasn't really pressured that much.
Do you want to go through the sacks?
I don't have them written down.
Okay.
I think I did a video on all 4 of them, but let me see. There was one where he stepped up into a sack. But Winston had a great day. He didn't have any missed open receivers except one, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, that's been 2 weeks in a row. And the one he missed was Mike Evans running down the field with his arm up.
Didn't we see that one on the broadcast?
I don't remember.
Maybe it was the week before.
I want to say on that one, Jameis ended up scrambling and picking up first down on it. So, it wasn't that disastrous. I really thought I would see more of that with this game. him not seeing open receivers. But no, he was pretty actually good with seeing when a defender was falling down or trailing a guy. A couple of times I actually saw him move his head around, scan the field. But yeah, Donovan Smith, he wasn't hustling as much as he has been all year. He wasn't lax by any means, but the offensive line looked kind of confused out there. But they still played great. They played average, if you ask me. They played average. They weren't above average like they have been. And a lot of that might be contributed to Arizona's front line. And they were pretty good, relatively. Our defensive line, to Sue, once again, didn't do much. He didn't look bad. He didn't do much, though. Vita played well, as usual.
Sue did get a sack.
Did he?
Yes.
I don't remember that. Barrett did very well. Barrett was all over the place, and he was tearing guys up. Both tackles, tight ends, running backs.
Barrett had that right tackle's number. He kept twice that right tackle.
Justin Pugh, the right tackle or the left tackle?
Maybe
the right tackle
left tackle
was Justin Murray.
I can't remember. I want to say it was the right tackle, but twice I saw Barrett got him to false start. Well, Barrett didn't do anything, but I think it was just the anticipation, like he was waiting for Barrett, and then he jumped a little early.
Yeah, because Barrett was using a lot of speed on the outside, beating the heck out of these guys. He had one real pretty spin move, but Murray was getting the ball out fast. I think
their speed is their strength on offense between Kyler Murray and then the tempo of the game with them snapping before we're ready.
That's a good point.
I think that really worked to their advantage.
Kazeen Daniels was out there for a couple plays, starting about third quarter. I'm sitting there and I'm watching. I was like, who in the hell is number 41? He was playing outside linebacker. He was lined up on the thing, and I was like, well, who is that guy? So I had to go and look. I was like, oh, it's Daniels. Oh, darn. He didn't do much.
Yeah.
He was probably out there 5 plays. I don't know. I could look at this.
Yeah, to be expected with JPP and Barrett healthy.
Yeah, you're not going to get much playing time with those guys out there.
And he probably didn't have enough time to really get going with anything if he's only out there.
Right. He got 3 snaps.
Okay.
What did I say, 5?
Yeah.
He got 3. Murphy Bunting, Whitehead, and Levante David all played 100% of the defensive snaps.
David had a really good game.
Yeah, it was all right. It was pretty good. That strip was great.
Yeah.
Devin White played 97% of the plays. He had 65 plays. Shaquille Barrett had 64 of the plays. That's 96%. Jason Pierre-Paul played 91% of the plays. Sue played 79%. Hargreaves, 64%. MJ Stewart, 58%. Adams had 52%. Where is Vita Vea at? Oh, here. Wait a minute. No, that's on offense. They don't have Vita Vea on defense.
Well, maybe it's both. What's this heading?
Okay. Yeah, so he played 73% of the snaps.
Huh. And Sue had 79, so they're not that far off. And then Vea
Sue played 4 more snaps than Vea.
Vea had the 3 snaps on offense, so 4% of the offensive play.
Yeah, he flipped a guy on that play where Barber scored the touchdown, the game-winning touchdown. Some guy tried to jump over the pile, and Vea just flipped him.
Well, he was a running back in high school.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, he's very quick, very fast. He can't jump for crap. He did end up batting a pass, though. Kyler Murray's so tiny. Right. I think Vita got off the ground maybe 6 inches. Seriously. And he's got those short arms, too. So Kyler Murray must have really thrown a line drive on that one.
Length is not his strength.
No, length is not his strength.
He's right there. Dr. Seuss. What do you think about the refs? They totally effed the Cardinals.
They robbed the Cardinals on that last play. Really did. It was sad to see. I didn't really notice a whole lot. There was some holding, especially on Sue. It seems like Sue gets held a lot. But nothing that I recall where I went, oh my gosh, how did they miss that? Or that really affected the play. There was one, JPP got held. The guy, I think it was DJ Humphreys, actually had him in a bear hug.
Wow.
At one point, but they didn't call that.
Just 2 old friends getting together.
Yeah, and they called intentional grounding on Jameis Winston that one play. And I went back, of course, and every time, I read the intentional grounding rules, and it's way too subjective. But one of the qualifications for it to be intentional grounding is that the quarterback must be at an imminent loss of yardage. He's going, he's either in the grasp of somebody or he's about to get hit. Well, in that play where Jameis Winston got the intentional grounding call. He wasn't about to get hit. I mean, there was a defender coming at him, but he could have easily dodged the guy or whatever, And Jameis Winston just threw it, and he threw it out. It was supposed to be a screen pass, and I can't remember who it was, Barber or Jones. I think it was Jones, Ronald Jones. Didn't go out for the screen pass. He stayed in and blocked instead. So, that one was one where I was like, they really shouldn't have called intentional grounding for that.
You don't think they should ever call it?
No,
Except on Drew Brees.
Except on Drew Brees, yeah. Drew Brees is the antithesis of the reason why they have the rule. He will be, there will be 3 guys on him. He'll be falling to the ground, and he'll just throw the ball.
At the lineman's feet.
Yeah, and they never, ever call intentional grounding. It drives me crazy with him. That's just one of those rules that they need to, if they're going to have the rule, and I can understand why they would have the rule, but if they're going to have the rule, they need to make it more precise. It's just way too subjective.
And there's too many parameters.
Yeah, right.
It's one thing when you're inside the pocket,
inside
right?
The pocket,
or outside the pocket. So then you've got to determine, well, where were you? So which rules apply? It's too much.
Yeah.
They have a hard enough time with pass interference.
Oh, God, I know. Yeah, Hargreaves got called for pass interference in the fourth quarter when Arizona was driving down the field. I don't know. I couldn't see it, but maybe on replay it was there or something. I don't know. But that's probably what really set Arians off. That was like he was like, I'm done with this guy, because here it is. We had the lead. We're trying to keep Arizona from moving down the field and scoring, and then he gets this big pass interference call on a third down. That would have ended the game, but he got pass interference. So maybe that was the straw that broke the camel's back, or the camel that broke the straw's back. One of the two. O.J. Howard had a bad day blocking. I think it was about 4 or 5 times where he just showed no effort in blocking. I don't think he wants to be blocking anymore.
They are using the tight ends in more blocking situations than receiving, I feel like. Like, where has Brait been all season? Or OJ?
Yeah, Brait wasn't out there that much. Let me see. Cameron Brait was out there for 15 plays.
It just seems like OJ and Brait, in Cutter's offense, they were pass-catching tight ends, and BA's not using them that way. That's their strength. So, to me, I'd like to see them out there more. Of course, those plays are more exciting than seeing a tight end blocking. Like, you're probably not even going to pay attention to
a
tight end blocking. So, of course, most people would prefer that they're out there catching passes. But
O.J. Howard was out there for 99% of the offensive plays. He was out there for 82 plays. There was 83 offensive plays, 67 defensive plays.
Wow.
All of our offensive linemen were out there for 100% of the game. But yeah, we've been doing that all year where we use the tight ends more. But now we've been using Josh Wells for an extra blocker whenever we go to those jumbo sets. That's probably because what's-his-face is out. Auclair. Mm-hmm. But yeah, OJ just looked like he was not into the blocking at all.
He probably wants the passes.
Yeah.
Get on a highlight reel, get your numbers up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he's getting help from fantasy football owners everywhere he goes. How come you ain't catching the ball?
And knowing that the New England Patriots Inquired want to do their...
No, yeah.
And that's what he would have been doing there.
Yeah, so the Cardinals, they didn't play that well, but we beat them.
A win's a win. There's no asterisk there.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't play horrible, but they played about what you would expect. Maybe a little bit better than what you would expect, actually. Yep, no asterisks on a win. All right, what do we got for news going on?
Mike Evans became the youngest player to reach 7,000 receiving yards in NFL history. He did it in 26 years, 81 days. So that's how old he was. Larry Fitzgerald did it. He was 26 years, 111 days. So Mike Evans beat him by 30 days.
Yeah, while he was playing.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. I always like to see Mike get some accolades.
Our December 21st game, Week 16, has been moved to Saturday at 1 p.m.
That is so weird.
Yeah, it's very strange. It was flexed.
It's not even like it's the last game of the season. I could see it on Week 17, maybe.
That's the one against the Houston Texans.
Right. Is that a home game? Yeah, that's a home game. Maybe it's... I don't know. It's very weird. The challenge that BA did the last one where he didn't have any more challenges and he threw the flag anyway and everyone's like, oh, BA, you're so stupid. Mm-hmm. He came out and said that he did it on purpose because he wanted to make a point that Marvin Lewis did it and it worked out.
Yeah, it did it against us.
Yeah. So that was BA's.
They actually won the game because of it.
Right. In that case, it was inside the 2-minute warning and it's forced the clock to stop and then they ended up reviewing it.
Yeah, I understand Bruce Arians' thoughts behind that. He wanted everybody to see that he was right.
Yeah.
And didn't want the refs to get away with it in everybody's mind. Because if he wouldn't have done that, they wouldn't have replayed it, and they wouldn't have shown it on the big screen. And, he basically gave everybody time to watch it and go, oh, yeah, Kyler Murray was down.
He likes to stick it to these refs.
He does. He does not like the refs. If you follow Jake Arians or his wife, you'll see that they have quite a few nasty things to say about the officiating crews.
They don't hold back, ever.
They do not hold back. So they're like his mouthpiece, I think.
Yeah, his proxy. I think he's also got a temper.
I think so, too.
So I think sometimes he does things on the sidelines that people question later, and he's got to come up with an explanation. I think a lot of it is he just loses his cool.
I don't know. He's just not the kind of guy that, he says it in his book, and I've seen it throughout all of his press conferences. He just doesn't bullshit, and I think that...
I'm not saying that he's bullshitting. I'm just saying that he gets hot on the field sometimes and makes some impulsive decisions.
Yeah. If it would have cost us the game, boy, people would have been furious.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, Atlanta Falcons. At least I guess it's Atlanta Falcons.
No, okay, it's not Atlanta.
What?
It's not the Falcons. The NFL is arranging a workout, and they're inviting all the NFL clubs. It just happens to be held in Atlanta for Colin Kaepernick. I know, the way that Colin Kaepernick's tweet worded it, it sounded like he's going to work out with Atlanta, but that's not the case. He's working out in Atlanta, and it's going to be like a workout and then an interview and it's open to all the NFL clubs. Now, let me ask you, how many NFL quarterbacks get a workout specifically arranged by the NFL league?
Now, here's the problem I have with that. I don't think it is specifically arranged by the NFL league. I think this is Colin Kaepernick talking out of his ass.
Saying that it is. Well, others have tweeted it.
Well, I know.
Adam Schefter.
Earlier in the day, his representatives had said that they were holding tryouts and inviting the NFL teams to come. This was early, much earlier in the day than his tweet. And then a couple of hours ago, they say he puts this tweet out saying that the NFL league office reached out to them about a workout in Atlanta.
So they're framing the narrative?
Yes, I think they're framing the narrative. Well, anyhow, my point being, I wish the Atlanta Falcons would pick him up.
I know, me too. I agree. This is probably one of the most heavily debated points in the NFL currently. Can Colin Kaepernick play?
No.
And I think both sides are like,
God, please.
Very eager for him to get a job somewhere so this can be settled.
Yes, please, somebody in the NFL hire this guy. Preferably somebody in our division, the Panthers, the Saints, the Falcons. Somebody, please hire him so he can blow your team apart and suck at the same time, just like he did the 49ers. He hasn't played in 3 years. There's no way he's in football shape.
Look how rusty guys are.
After just a couple weeks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 3 years?
Please let an NFL team pick him up.
Here's my main issue with him. It's not the politics. It's not even really his playing. It's that he tore the San Francisco 49ers locker room apart.
Yeah, that's what gets me.
It wasn't the protest. That was not what it was.
No, he cheated on Alan Smith's girlfriend.
Supposedly they were broken up.
Well, same difference. I mean, if you don't date somebody's girlfriend. You're banging
your teammate's ex-girlfriend that he recently broke up with. They got into a fist fight at practice.
Yeah, it's funny. Nobody ever talks about that. It's always about his politics. That's the reason. No, the guy destroyed the 49ers. I mean, it was...
Jim Harbaugh left the NFL.
Because of this mess. Because, Kaepernick, nobody ever does that. You just don't do that.
Especially the leader of your team, your quarterback.
Yeah, you're going to steal... Because that's what happened. He stole Alan Smith's girlfriend.
Right.
And... Alan Smith went crazy after that. He was crazy to begin with.
Well, he got a DUI right after, got arrested, got cut from the team, which you can say that's Alan Smith's choice, and it would be perfectly valid to say that.
But that doesn't help when the leader of your football team is dating your ex-girlfriend that you had a falling out with that you don't appreciate him dating your ex-girlfriend. Let's put it that way.
Right. And then you fight at practice over it.
So, yeah.
And word was that it divided the locker room. Some people were on Cap's side, some people on Alden Smith's side.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I wouldn't want him within 3 states of my locker room.
Well, I would. Louisiana, Georgia, and North Carolina, I think are all perfect places for him to go.
Perfectly suitable.
We have to pat ourselves on the back, which we do all the time here. We called that Cam Newton would not last the season.
Yeah, but we also said that they were going to implode.
Oh, that's still possible. I mean, come on now.
And we said they were going to suck, and they get a positive record. They still have time to suck. I think they had a better chance of sucking with Cam Newton starting, and now that he's on IR, that's not necessarily the case.
Well,
but we did say he wouldn't finish the season.
Yeah, we called that also. And we said Ron Rivera is not going to last. This is going to be his last year there, too.
Yeah.
But if he pulls this out, I'll be impressed with the guy, because this is, the second or third time he's been on the chopping block and has pulled through. But I don't want to see that happen. I really want to see him crash and burn.
They still could.
Atlanta looks like they're going to have a whole new everything next year.
It'll be Dirk Cutter, I'm sure. I'm sure it will.
No, I want it to be Raheem Morris.
He is like a coach killer, that Dirk Cutter.
Dirk Cutter, the coach killer.
You would never hire him as your offensive coordinator. He's going to take your job.
And then be a mediocre head coach.
Yeah, I think he has the football mind to be a good head coach, but he does not have the people management skills.
Yeah. No, he's a great mind. He's got a great football mind. I mean, his offense.
He should be a coordinator.
Although our offense is actually better than which that's what I said when we were going to get Bruce Arians. I was like, there's the only coach I know that could do a better offense than Dirk Cutter was Bruce Arians.
Yeah, we've got some semblance of a run game.
Yeah, that helps. But I'm pretty sure we're scoring more points. We're more points per game, more yardage. Jameis Winston is on record to get almost 5,000 yards this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
2 Tampa Bay receivers?
Oh, yeah. You're funny. Well, you figure Mike Evans is going to have 2,500 of those yards, and Chris Godwin's going to have the other 2,500. I think those two have. Greg Allman had tweeted it out that they have like 850 yards. And then the next closest is Perriman with 75 yards on the season.
Wow. Yeah, we can not get that third receiver spot clicking.
Man. Well, you got a guy like Mike Evans and Perriman. You just throw it to him. Yeah, he'll be covered with 4 guys, and they're still going to have a good chance of catching the ball.
Yeah.
That one catch Evans made was just spectacular. He jumped like 12 feet in the air. It was a beautiful catch.
Is it in the video?
No. I don't do highlight plays. I'd love to. I'd love to do highlight plays with music and everything, but YouTube is so... years ago, you used to be able to do that, but now, they'll kick you off YouTube for doing that stuff. Copyright infringement or whatever. Jameis Winston has thrown for over 300 yards in 4 straight games, becoming the first passer in team history to accomplish that. Rick Stroud information.
I think if Jameis hadn't had those really abysmal, awful games, this might be one of his best seasons, I mean, those games were so bad. They've just overshadowed all the good stuff he's done this season. He's really just got to pull out the rest of the season.
Just play like he has the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Calm, relaxed, not making a whole lot of mistakes.
We'll see how it goes against New Orleans next week. Or this week.
We've got to win that New Orleans game. We've got to. This is a make or break game.
Ralph did a playoff calculator, which... Y'all thought I was joking when I said you're going to really think we're delusional when we're 3-6 and we're still talking playoffs. But here we are.
Yes. Well, if we beat the Saints, there's a good possibility. I know this sounds stupid, but there's a good possibility we can take the division. But if we don't beat the Saints, we're out. I think mathematically we'll be eliminated.
Even from a wild card?
Yes, because as it stands right now, San Francisco and Seattle are fighting for their division. One of those is going to get the wild card. Both of them have beat us. So even if we tie with them, which if they lost out and we won out, it'd be about a tie. So, mathematically, I think we're going to be eliminated if we lose to New Orleans. So this is a big game. We can't lose to them. We're not going to lose anyhow. We're going to beat the mess out of them.
Are you going to put money on this one?
I am. I made $20 last week.
From what?
Made up for the $3,000 I've lost all year. Alrighty, that's going to wrap it up for us. Stay tuned at the end of the podcast. We're going to have the latest press conference from Bruce Arians. I still haven't gotten much feedback on that, whether you guys like that or don't like it. If you haven't noticed, I boost the sound of the reporters so you can actually hear the questions. That's a big issue we always have with listening to these press conferences, we can hardly ever hear the questions. But if you listen to it on the podcast, you can hear the reporters asking the questions and what they ask. And if you're really good, you can identify who it is asking the question.
If you've listened to a lot of press conferences.
Well, a good metric is if the question is 20 minutes long, it's probably Jenna Lane.
I don't know. There was a dude the other day that asked a really long question.
Yeah, there's been a couple people here lately that I've been like, who is that? I have no idea who that is. The second stringers.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody, one of the reporters is injured, so they had to put the second string reporter in. All right, we're going to have the next podcast out Friday. It'll be covering the matchup between the New Orleans Saints at the Buccaneers. That beatdown we're going to give them dummies. So until next time.
Go Bucs.
Jamel Dean, game ball. Studied an extra hour every day last week with Todd to get ready. Knew that play was coming. Made the play. Jameis 2 weeks in a row now has taken us the length of the field to win or tie a ball game, and that's the growth you're looking for. Not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. We got lucky. Tampa sunshine helped us a little bit. We let a guy go on 4th and 4, and the sun got in his eyes, and he dropped it. About time we got a break.
Can you talk about, that 2-minute offense and just how you judge a quarterback by, it was also the end of the half, which was
really 2 weeks in a row.
Biggest word you get.
Yeah. I mean, we've been outstanding at half all year. Last week with 40 seconds, this week with a minute, and that touchdown was huge after we gave up one. And take that lead back for the half. To me, that's how you judge NFL quarterbacks. Can they play in that situation? Forget the rest. Can they play in that? And right now, Jameis, I don't know if anybody playing better in 2 minutes in the last 3 or 4 weeks.
What's the key to that for him? What do you?
I think it's confidence, knowing what you're doing. First of all, trusting the guys around you, putting in the time to know what you're going to see. All right? And is this team a blitz team? Is it a cover 2? What do they do in 2 minutes? Are they a Tampa 2 team, So have some preconceived notions of where this ball might go in 2 minutes. I think the running game really helped. We popped Peyton out there, and can't say enough about Peyton in that fourth quarter. I thought he had a great fourth quarter. That touchdown run wasn't as easy as it looked, even though Vita did knock down 3 guys. I actually watched Vita's high school running back tape today, just in case. It's pretty impressive.
Bruce, you can laugh about it now because you survived it, but in terms of the no-risk-it spectrum, where does going for it on a fake punt with a double reverse flea flicker on?
Well, first of all, there's no such thing as pass interference in punt formation. So that I don't know where that came from, but they did make a heck of a play. We should have, when they moved, we should have checked out of a 7-man box, and that's stuff we talk about. Now, with our young guys, we have to physically do things on the practice field, and something we'll correct.
Coach, the 2 turnovers that the defense forced, they both happened in the red zone after the offense turned over the ball. So what does that say about the mentality this team has to never give up on a play even when their backs are against the wall?
Can't say enough about our sudden change defense. I mean, we were 3 out of 4, and I think Levante's play turned the whole game. We turn it over, he takes it away, and that's a play probably 4 guys can make in this league, and he's obviously one of them. Then, the second one when Jamel makes that interception. So, yeah, I think when you turn it over and people we take it back, it's huge confidence builders.
Coach, you talk about the growth of your team, and your first 2 wins, the last game-changing play was made by the defense in Carolina and also in L.A. when Dominic Sue picked up the ball and wins it back. What about yesterday when your offense is the side that actually makes the last game-changing play?
Yeah, I think, last week and this week, our offense did what it took to win the game. We got to where we needed to in Seattle. I think had we won the coin toss, we'd have won the game, but we didn't. So it just say with the growth of the offense, when you start averaging up in the high 20s in points, you're doing something right. And defensively, we gotta start, and we have. This is the first one where we play a little bit better.
Did you design a few more things for OJ based on what you thought he'd get from the Cardinals, and his development in the second half, how big will that be?
Yeah, I think it's huge. Did we purposely put it? We had a couple plays, the thing on the goal line, we thought we'd get a good matchup, and it wasn't actually what we looked for, but it was a great throw and catch. Jameis saw it, liked what he saw. We knew they were going to play a lot of cover two, and he should own the middle of the field. And, he had some good seam balls, almost had another one, had the shake route in there. So, yeah, I think it's more just same stuff, just more opportunities to get it.
Rotated the other safeties. Jordan was out there every play, but Edwards and Adams had dead even split exact numbers. Now, how is that combination and rotating them working?
Yeah, it's just a matter of we want to see them both. Mike is still growing from when he had his injuries, and we like him. Anthony's a safe, solid player, so just give them both reps.
With Jamel Dean's growth, and it's a good problem to have, but when Carlton does get back healthy, how do you handle the cornerbacks?
It'll be fun. We'll have guys that we can put in there and maybe even rotate a little bit and maybe keep them fresher.
Bruce, I know you were kind of frustrated with the officiating there at the end. Is it someone's job on the sidelines to literally take the red flag away from you when you're out of challenges?
Yeah, I'd kept it. Yeah, goes back about 8 years. I saw Marvin Lewis throw it to stop a game. He was obviously on his knee. All right, it was a timeout. I wanted to make a statement.
So, you wanted to make a statement yesterday by throwing it?
I knew I didn't have any.
To that crew, or just
yeah?
Was that the same crew that?
No, we had them.
Carroll's kind of doing the same thing in terms of making challenges just to prove a point or show a point.
I mean, I still thought we should have won the pass interference on MJ. I mean, but we obviously didn't. But when things are going in a game, there's only some certain ways to get point across, and it could have cost us, losing a timeout, but it wasn't a penalty. So
that doesn't what forces the crew to come over and talk to you, or?
No, it's just when everybody sees it on the jumbotron, and you guys watching this, all right, let's pick it up.
Talk about Levante's play. Obviously, it's been one thing. He's been very solid. What he means, you talk about leadership a lot. What he's meant to the young guys.
I don't know if you can quantitatively put a value on it. It's so big, for a young guy to go to a guy and him on the field, off the field, everywhere in life, help these kids out the way he does. It's the ultimate pro. It's the only way I can say it, and he is the ultimate pro.
In terms of, you talk about team and guys sacrificing. That's what you want, right? Cam Brate's a guy that made a lot of plays in this league, makes a lot of money, but is willing to kind of take his role. He had, I think, 15 or so snaps yesterday. Important. Is that the sort of thing you have to have if you guys are going to be successful?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. We had plays for him too. That this time it was OJ's, and they've been Cam's in the past, especially in the red zone where he's so effective. And but yeah, I think that's part of being a team member.
I think the offensive line had given up 2 sacks in the first 10 plays yesterday. Was there an adjustment made? I think it went about 40 before the next one.
I think sometimes watching film you don't get a sense for a guy's power, and I think I want to say we busted one of them, So, but yeah, I think offensive line's got a lot of pride, and I was disappointed in one of our running game. We had too many negative runs in the second half. Guys penetrating gaps, and we were running some outside zone, and even our downhill stuff. We were using Josh Wells as a tight end, and he got beat. So that part was a little disappointing.
So much of this year we started, even with you being hired, as being a referendum on Jameis. What happens after this year. How do you evaluate that? Is it the 2-minute stuff like you mentioned? Have you made a decision as to whether or not he should be the quarterback going forward? How do you look at that?
It's an ongoing process for me. Every the good, the bad, the ugly, you put it all together. 2-minute is huge. When you can take your team at the end of the half and go get a touchdown in a minute, end of a game, We didn't do it in Frisco, but now we've done it for a few weeks. You don't really want to get in that situation in your first game, But, so I see that growth. I see him throwing balls away, First, the guy made a really good play on the first pick. I think we could maybe run a better route, but that was where to go with the ball. Same thing with the second one. It was us. So I just see growth. I see growth as a leader. I see growth as a quarterback.
Taking sacks, that's another part of it.
That's huge. It's a big part of it. Stays second and 10, not second and 18.